Greetings, my name is Chlorastroklos, and in this video I'm going to teach you how to play my AC, Monkey King. I've seen a lot of bad play and bad takes involving this AC over the past few weeks, so I'm here to set the record straight. There is one take I don't disagree with, however, and that is that this is the easiest AC in the game. This AC is easier than a two-piece puzzle, and I'm about to give you step-by-step instructions on how to solve it. The concept of this AC is quite simple, in that this combination of AC parts creates the hardest stat check in the game. All this AC does in concept is kick the enemy player, and then follow it up by firing all four of its weapons to generate about 2,500 impact, making the game pretty much unplayable for anyone who doesn't either get over that threshold or block some amount of that damage with a shield. As you can see, in an ideal matchup, this AC is very easy to play, but before we get into the nitty-gritty of how to handle some of the more challenging matchups, let's go over all the different parts I used in this assembly. Going over the most obvious selections first, as you can see I have a Zimmerman in each hand and an LCS on each shoulder. The trick is that these weapons can all be fired at the same time, generating 2,250 impact. Next, I'm using the wrecker legs for my preferred kick animation, as well as limiting the weight of my AC and maximizing its stability. I respect the hard work and dedication of Professor Nagai, so I'm using his generator, and I'm definitely not just using it because it has the highest capacity and output combination in the game. But if you're going to use it for those reasons, I wouldn't blame you. In order to support Professor Nagai's magnificent generator, I'm using Carla's main dish core. This core is heavy, but it boasts magnificent defense, stability, and it gives us the best energy recharge in the game when we redline, which I'm planning to be doing all the time. I'm doing this because the booster I'm using is the BUERZEL, and that's because I really don't want to lose to other players using the BUERZEL to run away from me. The BUERZEL is pretty much uncatchable if you're not using a BUERZEL, or if you're not on wheelchair legs, but we'll get into that later. For targeting, I'm using the Abbott FCS supported by the Noctire arms. This means you pretty much won't lose anyone at close range, and it gives the LCS a little bit more targeting at longer distances. I round the build out with the VP44 head, as it has a good balance of AP and stability, and I really hate dying or being stunned. For my expansion, I'm using Pulse Armor. In a 1v1, Pulse Armor is a tool for resetting your stagger, getting out of your opponent's melee attacks, and just in general giving you a limited window of invulnerability to do massive damage. Now let's get into all those bad takes I was talking about. In more difficult matchups, there's a ton of nuance to playing this build, so let me take you through a few of those first. First challenge in learning this build is going to be overcoming shield players. The best way I've found to deal with shield players is to alternate fire your LCS and Zimmermans so that they never really have a chance to instant guard both of them at the same time, while at the same time moving them closer and closer to overheating their shield. It can also be useful to weave kicks into this pattern, but I don't really find that it's necessary, and sometimes it can even be detrimental. Another important optimization you can see I just did there is to always use PA second. Using PA first is almost always a death sentence with this build, so please never do it. I still do it way too often, and I die pretty much every single time I do. Even if it gives you a momentary advantage, using PA early will often completely ruin your tempo and give your opponent the perfect excuse to clear all their stagger and use their newfound invulnerability to kill you and make you wish you'd been playing Mech Warrior for the last 10 years. Conversely, holding your PA as long as possible can often result in you winning in almost impossible scenarios, while your opponent desperately tries to kill you, while you pump out an unreasonable amount of impact and damage per second. Your opponents will also use an early PA as a perfect opportunity to run away from you and reset their stagger bar, which they really have every right to do, so I really can't stress enough, never do this. You're just gonna die. A good strategy is to wait for your opponent to use PA, and then fire all four of your weapons to instantly remove their PA, and use your own PA to continue the counterattack. This strategy of holding your PA creates an unwinnable game of chicken for your opponent, who, if they hold their PA too long, will just inevitably die to your incredible DPS, oftentimes even while they're trying to activate it. There is another game of chicken where if the shield user frequently ignores your LCS and uses their initial guard to block your Zimmermans, you can punish them for this by firing all four of your weapons at the same time. They'll get the same beep they normally get for the LCS, but if they're not paying attention, they won't see the Zimmermans come up, they'll fail to instant guard, and you can instantly stun them and cash in. Oh, we're talking about shields and PA? That's right, there's another trick you can do where you fire all four of your weapons at the very tail end of an opponent's PA to punch a whole bunch of impact straight through their PA. This works because they can't use shield while their PA is up, but the damage and impact can still spill over if timed right, sometimes even instantly stunning them. But what about rats, you say? How can this build possibly beat a rat? Well, sit tight and I'll show you. The best way to beat a rat in any CQC build is to gradually corner them using your regular boost. Wait for them to assault boost, and assault boost second. You might start to see a theme here. By never using your assault boost to approach, and only using it to chase, you ensure you always have more energy left than your opponent, allowing you to close that last bit of distance and land kicks or Zimmermans. You'll notice in that last clip I purged my LCS. This is so I can chase down light rats easier. Frequently against lighter builds you won't need your full firepower, and it's often better just to land consistent Zimmerman shots and slowly take them down that way. You can still chase rats with your LCS equipped, and sometimes you have to, but I recommend avoiding it whenever possible. Whenever your Zimmermans deal enough damage on their own, you should drop the LCS and run the rats down that way. This is hardest to do against rats with shields. However, if you stagger your Zimmerman shots, it can work similarly to cycling the LCS and Zims. Additionally, while this works in some matchups, there are some very specific matchups where it does not, and these will end up being your hardest matchups. The first of these matchups is a wheelchair tank. Anyone using both the Fortaleza legs and a shield is going to give you a lot of trouble. This is because these tanks can usually output a ton of damage with their ready weapons, which don't need to stop to fire, and maintain distance from you, which makes it very difficult for you to deal consistent damage through their shield. Additionally, they usually put you on a timer, which makes it very difficult to slowly run them down like you can with other rats. This matchup can be made easier by bringing them to a harder map to drive on, like Wall Sector or Jorgen, where there's lots of stuff on the ground that they can run into. But generally this matchup is very difficult, and you're frequently going to need the other player to make a mistake to win. Your other bad matchup is defensive rats, specifically heavy rats with shields and high defenses. There aren't very many people who play these builds well, so it's unlikely you'll end up against these builds in the wild, but I still felt it was important to mention it. These builds play very similarly to wheelchair tanks, where they kite you and slowly deal damage, only to turn around and hit you with a very heavy weapon, while taking almost nothing in return and constantly keeping their distance. From my experience, the LCS is required to even have a chance in these matchups, but misfiring it can lead to your opponent resetting their stagger bar, and you basically losing the match right then and there. Additionally, I want to mention that using this build is no replacement for skill. Skilled opponents can hurt you in all sorts of different ways. They can play hit and run, they can kite you, they can barrel stuff your Zims, they can win kick trades and out DPS you, and they can do whatever the hell this is. However, every build has bad matchups, and I firmly believe this is still the easiest build in the game, so I highly recommend you give it a try and print as much Happy Chemical as possible while the AC is still legal to play. I've added the share code for this AC in the description. Here it is on the video as well. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe, and I'll be encouraged to make more content like this. And I hope you give this AC a try soon. Cheers.